was a lot of personal tragedy along the way that could have absolutely taken me off my focus and all. But I learned, you know, my husband and I lost a daughter in a car accident when she was 21 years old, and that was in 2002. And you know, it was a devastating thing. I can't even, there's no other loss I think that compares to that, when you lose a child. And with It Works, we were able to start getting joy back into our lives, you know. And in 2007, my sister was diagnosed with lung cancer, and I was making the run for Triple Diamond. Well, actually, our CEO, Mark Pentecost, had issued a challenge at that time in 2007, y'all, January. Nobody had ever gone Triple Diamond yet in our company. There were only 7 diamonds and doubles together, 7 total in 2007. The company was already 6 years old. 6 years, you guys, for the company to get still no Triple Diamond. And so Mark issued a challenge. The first person to go Triple Diamond out of those 7 people, we're going to get an all-expense paid trip to Cancun or Jamaica. And we came back, and that's when they introduced the cap bonuses. And so we came back from that on fire, and then I found out my little sister was diagnosed with lung cancer. And she didn't have long to live. I mean, they pretty much said she wasn't going to make it. And I had told myself that I was going to take a back seat on my It Works business and just spend time with my sister. So I went to my sister, and she knew what was happening in It Works. She knew that this was, you know, a lot of people getting involved, and there was a lot of people's lives being changed. And so I went to her and I said, you know, I've made a decision. I talked to Blair. He's in full agreement. I'm going to back off my It Works business for a little while, and I just want to be with you. And she just looked at me and she goes, are you kidding? She said, you can't do that. This is not about you. She said, look at those people. Look at all these people that you have brought into this business, and look at their lives being changed. Look what's happened to your life. This is what you were born to do. And she said, you cannot stay here for me, because that would be the worst thing that could ever happen. She said, you get out there and you go build your business. And so with her blessing, I did, and I became Triple Diamond in March of 2007, the company's first Triple Diamond. And I called her. She was the very first person I called. And, you know, she was so excited. I'll never forget how excited she was. And you know what? A week later, she passed away. And it just, you know, I had an expo that I had booked on that Thursday. She passed away on Monday. We buried her on Wednesday. And on Thursday, I'm at this show because I kept hearing her voice saying, this isn't about you. You know, you got people that are looking to you, their lives are being changed. You have finally found what you were born to do. And so I was at that show. And then a couple of years later, or actually 9 months later, I'm in 2009, I'm running for presidential, and my father passes away. And, you know, I'm supposed to be speaking at our real first conference that the company ever really had, was in 2007. And I was supposed to speak, and my father passed away on Wednesday, and we buried him on Thursday in a graveside service. And then I was on a plane on Friday to go to Tampa for the conference. And again, you know, I had to think, would people blame me for staying at home? I don't think so. I mean, I think that they would understand, you know, but again, I had a lot of people that were counting on me, and again, it wasn't about me. So I want you guys to really realize that, you know, you are not in this by accident. Do you believe that? Do you believe that you were actually divinely appointed to be in this business? Because if you don't, you need to know that. You're not here by accident. God handpicked you to be in this business, because look how many lives are being changed. And I want to leave you with this one thing. How much time do I have here? Do I have at least 5 minutes?
Yeah, we'll make it that.
Okay. I've got to tell you this story, because this is, I really want you to hear this. Have you ever seen the movie Little Boy? Who?
Oh, I just said no.
No? Anybody seen the movie Little Boy? Okay, write that down. Little Boy. You gotta rent it, you gotta get it, and you gotta watch it, and watch it with your team. This little boy, back in the, and he was actually older than than he looked. He was very short, very tiny, and the kids in his neighborhood used to make fun of him. But he had a real close relationship with his father. And his father and him would do these adventures, like being pirates on a ship, and they would imagine through their mind, and the father would be like, they'd be hanging off the edge of a cliff, and he'd grab him, and he'd say, do you believe we can do this? And the little boy would go, yes, Dad, I believe we can do this. And they would, make it happen on their adventures. It was all make-believe. But his father was always saying, do you believe you can do it? Do you believe you can do it? And so his father got called to war. And so a little bit later, there was a magician that came to town. Now this was back in the, in the World War II days or whatever, a long time ago. And so a magician came to town, and he called up the little boy out of the audience, and he put a bottle at the end of one table, and he had the little boy come in at the other end, and he said, do you believe that you could move that bottle from there to here just by thinking about it? And the little boy said, I don't know, maybe. He goes, no, you have to believe. He goes, you gotta believe that you can move that bottle from here to there. And the little boy says, okay, I believe it. So then the magician said, you gotta stand there and you gotta go, and you just gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. And all of a sudden that bottle just came across the table. So all the kids were like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So the little boy, the next day in church, the pastor was talking about having faith as small as a mustard seed, and that you have to believe. And so that little boy went to this grocery store and got mustard seeds. And he was like, he went back to the pastor and he goes, I believe that my dad can come home from the war. And I want him to come home from the war so bad. Do you believe that if I believe in these little mustard seeds, like you said, will my dad come home? And the pastor said, well, I would hope that he will. We have to believe. And the little boy said, well, I believe that this bottle at the magic show could move, and I moved it because I believed. And the pastor said, okay, well, let's try that. So he grabbed this bottle and he set it on the desk. And he said, do you really believe you can move this bottle? And the little boy said, yes, I believe I can move it. And he goes, okay, move it. So the little boy did his little thing, and nothing happened. And the pastor said, did you really believe? And he goes, yes. And he goes, well, try it again. It's like, I believe. And still nothing happened. And so then the pastor said, try it again. So he did it again. He goes, do you really believe? And he goes, yes, I really, really believe. He goes, okay. And the pastor picked up the bottle and he put it right in front of the little boy. And the little boy said, I didn't do that though. And he goes, yes, you did. He goes, because you believe. This is how God operates. Because you believed so strongly and without doubt. He moved on your behalf. And he made that happen for you because you believed. So that's what I want to leave you with, is you got to believe in what you're doing. You really have to believe it. Even if nothing's happening, you have to believe in what you're doing, that this is going to make a difference for your life. Because it's made a difference for so many people. Why not you? If you got to get into some books and read, do it. Change yourself, grow, become the person that God already knows you are, because he put you on here to do great things. And he's chosen this vehicle for you to do great things in. So I hope that that encourages you. You guys, you have the best opportunity in your hands. Don't be looking around at other things and thinking that people have, greener grass on their side. They still have to mow the grass, okay? So you just stay where you are. Don't look at anybody else. Don't look at anybody else's journey and think that you're not doing something right or whatever. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And I just pray and hope that all of you will get to conference. They're gonna be announcing conference, within just any day now. So get your ticket. It will sell out. I promise you it's gonna sell out. They will have a payment plan, and they'll take it out of your commission check. So there's no excuse. If you don't get to conference, then I can promise you, you're really gonna struggle, because you've got to get where you can see the bigger picture, okay? I love you guys. Thank you for having me here today. Thank you.